flawless makeup, sitting at the candlelight, surrounded by color-coded notes, sipping coffee from an aesthetic mug. She's been studying for 8 hours straight, but somehow she looks like she's living her best life. Could you imagine yourself studying like this? So, if you've been on TikTok, Pinterest, or Instagram lately, you've probably seen thousands of such videos under hashtags like romanticizing school, aesthetic study, motivation to study. And take a second to think, how do you personally feel about such videos? Do you feel motivated, curious, or maybe frustrated? So the main issue is that when we romanticize school, we try to change our environment to create perfect atmosphere. But the thing is that we can't do this just perfect because it creates external motivation. And those videos don't tell us that external motivation is like a sugar rush. It gives you a quick high, then leaves you with crushing harder than before. So this video sells a beautiful lie. They promise that just with beautiful notes you'll be an academic weapon. But it's not really true, because we all know that internal motivation is much important, because external motivation don't give us this long-term discipline and fulfillment with ourselves. So a quick story time. After watching countless of those study-making videos with picture-perfect students, one girl became convinced that this was exactly what she needed to become an academic weapon and to study hours long without any breaks. So she became her transformation. She would clean up her room for 30 minutes before studying. Until not a single item was out of place. She would prepare her coffee in the most Pinterest-worthy mug she could find. She would make her hair, she would light up the candles, and she felt like she was about to star in her own motivational movie. Like right now, there would appear a cinematographer who would record her impeccable long study session. But reality hits hard and fast. So within only 10 minutes, her failure was falling into her face. She was trying to focus on her studying, while Spotify playlist was consistently interrupted by the advertising. She wasn't able to read anything because the light candles wasn't enough to clearly see anything. And also she spent too much time perfectly highlighting and color-coding her notes instead of actually studying the information. So actually, this was my own experience of trying to romanticize my studying. It was not perfect, and as I mentioned before, this happened because by romanticization, we mean relying on external factors instead of how we actually feel inside. So let's look closer at the habits that those perfect study videos promote. So they mostly glorify staying up until extremely late hours or waking up at 3-4 a.m. to study. They also don't promote sustainable study habits like taking breaks or good healthy nutrition or proper sleep schedule, but instead they romanticize studying for marathon study sessions without minimal breaks. And so therefore, it can be really stressful for everyone who try to study based on such videos. But what can we do instead of this? What should we do instead of romanticizing studying? So I'll explain everything in a minute. But firstly, let's listen and let's take a minute to listen. this is lofi music. With its slow down beats, it helps us to reduce anxiety. And also, it reduces cortisol levels that any listeners can have, allowing them to focus better on their study. So, one more external tool for your study sessions might be aromatic candles. They can help you by smell associate the information that you have with this smell. So it will be better for memorization of this material that you have to learn. And right now, let's conclude and think about what should we do instead of romanticizing our study. So first, identify your learning studying style, and also identify your needs. Do you study better with bright lighting or softer one? What's time best for you of day when your brain is most energetic and starting to work? So the second one is sustainable study habits. Research shows that distributed study practice over marathon study sessions is much more better for your memorization and for your mental health. Third is to connect your studying with your long-term goals and your dreams. So write down things that you really love and want to achieve in your life, so you can look out for them when you feel like you're losing your motivation. And finally, really think and be honest with yourself what helps you to study and what's practical for you, instead of what looks just pretty. So if these colorful pens are really helping you to organize your studying and your notes, it's just great. But if you use them just to make your notes prettier, you're setting yourself up for failure. So romanticizing is not a harmless trend. It's a mindset that undermines your student success and mental health. Because your worth as a student isn't measured by how many hours you can study without any breaks, but how you feel fulfilled with the process and what you're doing. So to conclude, romanticization of your studying it can be really dangerous if you don't use them your internal motivation and desires. So instead of trying to change your environment, you should just find your passion. So when your passion is so strong, then even if there will be a zombie apocalypse, you will be too focused on your strong desires to notice what is happening around you. And the most important thing to remember that the most powerful study tool that you have isn't pretty planner or perfect notes. It's what's inside you, your desires and your genuine aspirations.